What do we have at the foundation of the reading? The Wheel of Fortune, Sag energy at the foundation of the reading. So the main message that I've been getting leading up to this reading has to do with all of the chaos that is taking place in the world right now, and how Spirit wanted me to deliver a message to all of you that it's very important to keep pushing forward. Everything that's taking place is beyond our control. It's not our fight. And right now, you all need to stay very focused. The truth is going to prevail in the end, but your transformation is actually on the other side of your resilience. Everything that is taking place in and around your lives, as well as on the world stage, is a kind of distraction. And especially on the world stage, it's much like kabuki theater. It's very important that you're using discernment at this time. Don't allow what you're seeing to trigger emotions and reactions out of you, because there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than we're all being made aware of. A lot of what is taking place is a perfectly orchestrated plan to make us feel as though we don't have control over our lives. It's all meant to desensitize and dehumanize us into feeling a lack of hope. And although a lot of what we are seeing taking place is so heinous that it's hard not to react, but it's important that you do your best to try not to. Even having opinions or leaning to one side more than the other is dangerous in these times. It's very important to just, again, stay unreactive, because the point of everything that is taking place around the world is to trigger all of us into fighting with each other, forming weapons against each other, so they can strip us of our rights, of our liberties, as a means to control the chaos. It's a perfectly orchestrated plan. Now, the Wheel of Fortune at the foundation of the reading is showing us very clearly that we are indeed in this crossover point. And it's interesting because we have the devil on the bottom of the wheel. We have all of these angels up here logging things in what looks to be books, right? Maybe the Akashic records there. It's like this is the divine, this is the underworld. And we're somewhere in between. And that in-between feeling is what all of us are feeling right now. It's like chaos and destruction on the left and the Wizard of Oz and Disneyland on the right. And what I mean by that is distraction is never far away from destruction. See, what I've really started to notice in these times is that there's inversions to almost everything, even the word, right? Even scripture. There's this counterfeit Christ that is being sold to everybody that sees everybody standing down, right? Stand down tactics, wait to be saved, wait for the Savior to come out of the heavens and lift you up, right? But the actual word, actual scripture does not tell you to do that. It's all coded, it's metaphorical. The actual living word is supposed to stir you to discern and act. It's very important that all of you don't fall for this inverted Christ that tells you to wait and obey. See, the false savior pacifies. The true word is supposed to disrupt. One keeps you in the system and the other breaks you free. And there's a very clear representation of this on the world stage, and people are falling for it left and right, more now than ever. You know, we always hear that, oh, everybody's waking up, the world is waking up, and, you know, I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree with that, because just when you think people are waking up, there's another distraction that comes through and puts everybody back to sleep. See, there's different levels to waking up. Nobody is fully awake. Just when you think you have woken up to something, you find yourself waking up to something else. There's many, many layers to it, but this is the big one, and it's all rooted in religion, in belief. But the one thing that each and every one of us cannot deny is true is what our own intuition tells us when we begin to strip away all that noise. That's what all of you need to be listening to now more than ever. And right on the bottom of the deck, we have the High Priestess, okay? So confirming what I'm saying, because the High Priestess is the card of intuition. See how she's looking out over the ocean? Makes you feel like she's just kind of sitting there and thinking about things, right? Not allowing anybody else to influence what she feels and knows to be true from within her soul, from within her heart. The world constantly bombarding us with all this distraction, so we lose that kind of focus. Some of you may need to get away and clear your minds, disconnect from any sort of excess noise if you feel as though you're losing hope right now. And that's okay to feel that way. It's just confirmation that you're actually human. You have human feelings, you have human emotions. You're not completely indoctrinated by the system. And that's your sign that you're not really a part of this world. None of you are. You're just passing through. It's all of you that are as close to awake as one can be, because you understand what I'm saying. You see through all of this. You see through the lies. A lot of people don't. There's so many NPCs out there, so many people that have just completely given up control over their own minds. And a lot of it, if not all of it, is through idol worship, whether it's politically speaking or in entertainment. It's everywhere. Everybody is desperate to idolize somebody. What do we have? The sacral, please. Six of Swords, Aquarius energy at the sacral. Now, the Six of Swords here is really highlighting what I'm onto in this reading here, okay? Because as we can see, here you are on this boat here with your inner child, and you're going over this body of water, which represents emotions. And then we have swords here, which represents the mind, right? It's like head over heart decisions, which can be another way of speaking about not allowing your emotions, your emotional reactions to things that are going on in the world right now to cloud your mind. A lot of what we see takes stepping back. The more shocking, the more horrible, the more these events try to trigger a reaction out of people, this should be your sign to hold back from injecting your opinion into anything until you have an opportunity to sit with it. And what I mean by that is ask Spirit. Spirit, what am I seeing right now? Is this real? Is this kabuki theater? Is this just meant to trigger a reaction out of me? And Spirit will answer. And I feel even with all this chaos taking place around the world right now, your connection with Source and the divine, the true divine, that you know to be true, not one that people try to sell to you or not one that people try to scare you into following. You ever notice that? Right? People tell you that if you don't do this, if you don't do that, you're going to hell, right? There's fear still there. But then they tell you, oh, don't live in fear. See, it's a contradiction in and of itself. But still, people fall for it because they don't know where else to turn. But now, more than ever, your intuitions are firing on all cylinders, okay? So you need to use them. Don't trust what you hear. Don't even trust what you see. There are things that they can do now to make things look very convincing, to fool everybody, to trigger that emotion and reaction out of everybody. The energy I've been feeling in the collective the past few days, it's almost been sickening. I felt difficult energies before, energies that are challenging to navigate and read through. And it's not that the messages aren't there. There are too many of them. But this energy now, I have never felt before. It's something much different. There's a massive spiritual war taking place right now. We can't see it. It's outside of what we can actually perceive with our own two eyes. It's here, but it's in another density. For those of you that understand dimension, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's felt. We all feel something. It's that uncertainty. It's that feeling of, is what I'm doing here even something that matters, right? It's one of these times when you begin to feel that nothing is important because it seems so insignificant in comparison to the chaos that we see all around us. And that's exactly how they want you to feel. They want you to feel like giving up in some capacity. Because when you start to take on that kind of feeling and emotion, you become vulnerable. You become susceptible to their long arm of control in your life. So you need to protect your mind. You need to protect your spirit. Push forward in power. Keep that smile on your face even through the storms. It's all a part of it. And though it's very confusing because you're an empathetic bunch who doesn't like to see other people hurt, it's not your fight. And I only say that because all of you want to do the right thing. All of you want to help. But the territory that we're in right now requires you to stay focused on yourself, your communities, and your loved ones. That's where you make the most difference. If everybody focuses on their own communities, then everybody should be taken care of. There's a lot of deception out there right now. And there's a lot of very bad people in this world that are trying to drag a lot of you down with them. But in this season, you need to protect yourself and those closest to you, because the war is here. And what makes it so difficult is that we can't actually see it with our limited sight, but trust that feeling and know that if you just stay focused on your path, what you came here to do, whether you think that that looks insignificant when placed side by side with the chaos of the world, you must stay focused on it. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Nine of Swords, Gemini energy at the solar plexus. This card gives a really good illustrative depiction of what I'm picking up, right? It's like here you are sitting up in bed, all these thoughts and just stress, anxiety, right? Can't sleep. Not even realizing that there's this demonic entity torturing you, right? See, when you focus on the negativity in the world and that hope begins to dwindle, this is when these energies can make their way into your field. It all has to do with vibration. When you're vibrating very high, when you're staying very focused on your path, yes, you have empathy for those who are dealing with loss in their life. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to be cold or not care for people. I'm just saying to protect yourself, okay? Because we're in a time right now where you can get easily swayed and knocked off your path simply by trying to help where your help wouldn't make any difference. And if you do want to help, just make sure it's going to make a difference right now, okay? And just hearing those words come out of my mouth like that, I don't like it, right? It sounds selfish, and that's not at all the type of thing that I would usually say. I would say, you just help people. If somebody needs help, you lend them a hand, no matter what the cost. But we have to be really smart right now because the devil is so tricky, The devil will do whatever he has to weasel his way into your life. And that could see somebody coming across your path, male or female, that really tugs at your heartstrings. A situation, an event. I just heard the great deception. It's like we're living in the middle of a swarm of demons right now. It's like they're all coming out of the woodwork. And they don't want you to live in your truth, to speak your truth, because it leads to healing. Energetically, vibrationally. They want you to remain stuck in a vortex. The great divide is here. It's us and them. And unfortunately, a lot of the thems look a lot like us. But you can't say that over the past week or so, you haven't seen a darker side to humanity that a lot of us hadn't seen out in the open, like we're currently seeing. It's, without getting too specific, it's overwhelming. But having said all that, with this Nine of Swords, there's further emphasis here on you needing to protect your mind. Don't allow yourself to become consumed with events, with evil that you cannot positively affect in this moment. Again, we're just past that point. There was a time, and I remember speaking about this maybe a year ago. I did some readings about remote viewing, right? And visual manifestation, about visualizing a different outcome for all of us. You see, a lot of what's going on in this world as well is being created by all of us. The fear creates more fear. There's so many people that are reading texts that are telling them how things are going to end up. So then that narrative gets pumped in excess into the entire collective. And now you have millions of people saying this is going to happen. And now we're living in a timeline where these things are actually beginning to unfold. You must think for yourself. Don't allow yourself to become a part of this herd mentality. It's very dangerous. I would say that it is really what can lead each and every one of us to our end. What do we have at the heart position, please? Three of Swords, Libra energy at the heart. Another perfect follow-up to what I'm saying here, because this is that emotion, right? I mean, look, we have three swords through the heart, surrounded by this sort of gray energy. See, what we all need to understand here is that what we feel in a moment, the reactions that they trigger out of us through events, chaos. It sends out a vibration. That vibration begins to multiply with each and every other person who feels that same emotion. It's like 6 billion people feeling heartbroken all at once. And you best believe that that shifts the planet's vibration. This is a very effective way to control mass amounts of people. Millions, billions. We've seen it. And then you feel it, right? You see the event, then you feel it for days. And this isn't the first time it's happened. It's happened many times, but there's something different about this time. It feels more potent. And it probably has to do with social media, right? The fact that we're all so connected. So information travels much faster than it used to. This is why this message is coming through. Because even though there's 74,000 people subscribe to my channel, which doesn't seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things, it certainly can be a disruption if enough of you begin to understand what I'm trying to convey here, okay? You can make a difference that way, right? That's the most effective way. When you think about what I'm saying from the point of vibration and frequency and energy, you can see now how that is truly each and every one of our superpower, because when we take control over our emotions, protect our minds, it places us into that power position. It's all about you becoming sovereign. It's like they want you to look over here, look over there, anywhere but ahead, right? It's like you got horror on the left and distraction on the right. And most of it, if not all of it, is a bunch of lies. What do we have at the throat, please? Look who decided to show up to the party. You heard us talking about him. The devil. Capricorn energy at the throat. You know, whenever I deliver messages like this that have a bit more of a revolutionary tone to them, he shows up because you're not supposed to know this. The devil wants you in this energy of bondage, despair, but you have to be willing to put yourself there. See, we live in a world where we are tricked into giving up our own inalienable rights through self-sabotage because we become so consumed by fear. Fear that only exists because we say it exists. And how do you say that fear exists? Well, it really comes down to reacting to it. If you react to something, you are confirming it to be true. Now, everything is circumstantial, and each and every one of you is dealing with different situations in your life right now. But the general message there is that the sooner you begin to break free of these fears and reclaim your own personal power and sovereignty, these energies will begin to retreat. We can't stop this system of control from doing what it does, not as long as we keep reacting to it. When we stop reacting to it, then it begins to dismantle. See, what's interesting right now, and this is what is so deceptive about this time that we're in, is a lot of people think that their reaction to everything that's taking place in the world right now is them standing up, fighting back. But it's not. They're walking straight into the trap that the devil, so to speak, has set out for them. See, they're very clever. They know every move that we're going to make before we even make it. They're 10 steps ahead at all time. Okay, if we set up this, then they're going to react this way. And if they react this way, then we can strip them of this, that, and the other. And we'll get them right where we need them. And the entire time, they would have thought that they were standing up for what was right, that they were standing up and fighting back against a system, when in reality, we tricked them into fighting each other. See, this devil, it's almost like he's puppeteering these two individuals here, right? It's like two sides. This could represent what we're seeing in the world right now. It's like there's always one side going after the other, right? But the reality of that is that when you really zoom out, they're controlled by the same entity. And see, that's just a fact of the third density. The third density is dualistic, when in reality, we are all one. There's no division. But to live in this world, we live under this sort of beast system that divides everything, but it controls both sides. And it's that division which allows it to stay in control at all times. It's very easy to fall for it, you know? left, right, who's good, who's evil. It's always one side going after the other on many different levels. I'm not even talking about just politics. And that's the most obvious one, but it just goes far beyond that. That's just a real easy way to divide people into categories and then laugh as they all fight with each other. You know, I heard somebody say the other day, famous comedian said this. He was discussing the chaos going on around the world, and he said, you know, I just sometimes feel like there's somebody hiding behind a curtain over in a corner somewhere just snickering as all of this goes on. And that's so true, right? It's this energy. That devil energy. And just to be clear, the devil isn't just one person or one thing. It's, we hear Christ consciousness, right? It's a sort of way of living, right? Well, it's the same as the devil. It's just a way of living. It's an energy. It's a mindset, a devil mindset. You know, you can also refer to that as people giving over to a reprobate mind, which is something that is everywhere right now. People just completely losing themselves for a certain belief system that I don't even think they truly understand. You know, people just all want to be a part of something because they think if they're a part of something, then they're going to get saved from something that I don't even think that they can fully put into words. What do we have with the third eye, please? Man, 5 of Cups, Scorpio energy at the third eye. As you can see, here you are having to turn a blind eye to this person here who was clearly screaming out to you, help me, save me. Meanwhile, they're pretending like they're drowning in 2 feet of water, right? Just improve what you have right now. There's too much uncertainty out there right now, and it's a great time to really lock it down, right? Batten down the hatches, so to speak, energetically. I was also getting messages before the reading. These ones are going to be a bit more personal, I feel, to all of you. Just stepping away from the overall collective energy right now, but I was hearing something about individuals receiving karma for what they put you through. And I heard that the trumpets had sounded. These people, whoever they are, put a lot of lies on your name, just really drug your reputation, your name through the mud. A lot of these things that they have said, a lot of these things that they have done to you are too difficult to come back from. And it's not worth putting the energy in to try and clear up your name. Spirit wanted you to know that the reason why this has taken so much time, and this is going to be a message for 2 groups of you, okay, is because you needed to step into your power first as proof to others that everything they said was a lie. So the message there is that rather than focusing on the damage that was done and trying to clear up your name, stay focused on the path ahead, like we've been saying throughout this reading. It's going to be the proof in your purpose, what people eventually see you doing, that is going to clear up what they put on your name without you even having to do anything, okay? Now, there's another group of you as well that have yet to step into your power, okay? And I feel that some of you are focused on what's happened, what was done to you, and you need to pull yourself out of the victim mindset that they want you to be in, okay? This is very important. Everything that they did to you was to get you into that space to begin with. They want you to feel like you've been left out in the cold. They want you to feel hopeless. So you need to really pull yourself together, okay? And charge forward. As difficult as that might be, it's the only way. And just about all of you who are dealing with this energy are also dealing with the weight of what I'm picking up here collectively. And look at that right there. Unbelievable. 10 of Wands. Okay, so if there was going to be a card that spoke about weight, right? The heaviness of the energy, it would be the 10 of Wands, which is the most burdened, exhausted energy in the tarot. It's time to let go of everything that you cannot control and that you can't carry, and focus on you and yours, okay? Don't worry about what was said, about what was done. As long as you do what you came here to do, then all will be made right in time. What do we have at the crown, please? And now we see why all this is happening. And there's layers to this. 10 of Pentacles. Virgo energy at the crown. This is your divine inheritance. This is what you're going to achieve. This is the vision. And this is why this is happening. Because they don't want you getting to this. Whether it's you individually or all of us collectively. This is a kind of golden era, okay? Which is also written. So if we're seeing everything unfolding the way it is, and we're witnessing all the chaos around us, we also know that there are better days ahead. We are just witnessing the storm right now. And this storm is going to see a lot of people not being strong enough to push through. This whole reading here is to encourage you to keep pushing forward. Yes, we have to be honest about what we're dealing with, which I think I've conveyed in a way that makes it a little bit easier to hopefully understand. But I think there's enough here to where you know what you need to do. You're going to get there. We have the Wheel of Fortune at the foundation of the reading and the 10 of Pentacles at the crown. This Wheel of Fortune, we're on approach, right? We're not quite there. But this is your destiny, okay? This is the turning point. Like I mentioned, we're in this in-between, right? Where everything is just kind of weird. And then 6 of Swords, this is you navigating the in-between. Keeping your head about you, right? You know, this reminds me of the phrase by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your wits about you while all others are losing theirs and blaming you, the world will be yours and everything in it. And then we also have 10 of Cups right on the bottom of the deck, okay? 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. This is as good as it gets, all right? The divine inheritance, the blessings, whatever this vision is that you have, and then complete happiness and contentment with your family, with your community, with your soul tribe, whoever this represents for you, okay? What do we have at the foundation, please, Spirit? Emperor. Ball. Wow. Jeez. This one card alone speaks about this entire energy that I've been picking up on here, okay? You know, when it comes to the devil, when it comes to Baal, when it comes to all of these underworld deities, you got to think of them more as energies than singular entities, okay? A lot of them are ways of describing many different kinds of deities combined into one. And this energy right here is what is consuming this world right now. You don't have to look very far or do a bit of a search on YouTube or Google to find that this deity right here is worshipped by a lot of people in the entertainment industry. People who want to gain popularity summon Baal, okay? It's a sort of form of fame. But in a nutshell, he is a king of hell, and he has the ability to grant people certain kinds of powers. And a lot of what is going on in this world right now is because of this energy right here. And right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Star card, okay? So it can't really get any clearer than this. It's like this energy here grants fame. What do we have at the sacral, please? Too many cards. What do we have the sacral? Ace of Cups, Beer at the sacral. This is right underneath the 6 of Swords, and it's confirming what I said about head over heart decisions, right? Because the Ace of Cups from this deck, it's like Ace of Cups in its shadow. It speaks about an energy that is trying to make you feel mentally and physically exhausted, right? Like you just can't go on anymore. It's just too much. I can't Can't do it anymore. I'm done, right? That's this kind of energy. So when you begin to notice that you're being consumed by that kind of energy, it's very important that you pull yourself out of that space, okay? Because most people are dealing with this right now. It's just so heavy, and it's impossible not to feel this way when you're constantly mainlining all of the chaos of the world. It's like the devil, Baal, right? This energy here are at the core of this. And the more you feed it, the stronger it becomes. What do we have at the solar plexus? 6 of Cups, Scorpio energy. In its shadow, Fornius at the solar plexus. Now, this is very clear here. What I'm seeing here is a karmic cycle. This 6 of Cups here speaks about just repeating past mistakes over and over, right? So a karmic loop, a karmic cycle. Now, that's going to show up in each one of your individual lives as just certain events and situations that you can't seem to remove yourself from. You know, more specifically, it can show up as people trying to come back into your life and reattach that cord to you and pull you back into a situation that you've already moved on from. In some capacity here, these energies in your own individual lives are all connected to these energies, okay? They're all tentacles of this energy here. There's also an energy here with the 6 of Cups right underneath this 9 of Swords, right? So there's the spirit right there, the entity, right? Tormenting you. Here you are sitting up in your bed thinking, I don't know if I can do this. Is this going to work out? The worry, the fear, whatever that represents for you, okay? Then 6 of Cups here, this can also be an energy of you thinking your expectations are unrealistic or people saying that to you, right? And see how there's a knot here? It's like it's trying to get you caught back up in the cycle, tie you back into this energy. What do we have of the heart, please? You know, what's interesting about Baal as well, one of the powers that he has is that he's able to make himself invisible. So he blends into the background, avoiding detection. So again, think about these as energies rather than singular entities, okay? The energy just has a way of possessing people. Has a way of possessing people. And then we get this card here, which says spiritual troubles, okay? Now, this is the Hangman, red in its shadow, Pisces energy, Bifrons. Now, the Hangman from this deck is an energy of victimization. It's also an energy of traitors. I'm also hearing something here. Oh, God, this really speaks about what we're seeing on the world stage, but this can be an energy of martyrdom as well. It's like taking a tragedy, turning somebody into a martyr, and then using that to trigger a response out of people, which causes these sorts of uprisings and revolutions where people just begin to fight with each other, essentially destroying each other, while this energy is hiding off in the corner somewhere, snickering from within the darkness. But it goes a layer deeper. The martyrs are all a part of the plan too. They're all in on it. It's all orchestrated. The martyrs are meant to look like the saviors when they're not. And then we have the Knight of Cups, perception and revelation, okay? So again, emphasis on using your intuition here, okay? Organizing, interpreting, and making sense of sensory information from the world around you to form a meaningful understanding of your surroundings. That's the message, which leads to the revelation, perception and revelation. I feel that a lot of you have access to divine downloads right now that are allowing you to see things in a way that you haven't before. It's like a divine or supernatural disclosure of who you are and what your part in all of this is. You know, we always hear the term the Great Awakening, but to me it feels more personal. It's something that each one of you is experiencing individually, your own great awakening. It's not so much global right now. It kind of looked like we were going to have a big global awakening not so long ago, but then we shifted and ended up onto a different timeline. And now all of those who think they're awake are very much asleep. They're becoming the NPCs. They're becoming the agents of the Matrix. They're doing exactly what the beast system wants them to do, and they don't even know it. You got to think for yourself. Stay away from the groupthink, the herd mentality. Its only purpose is to lead you to the slaughter, and they know that. If you can self-sabotage, then that's one less person for them that they need to worry about waking up. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? Justice. Libra energy right there at the throat underneath the devil. Says right there, makes truth known. So this is going back to what I said about the truth eventually coming out, okay? Whether this is for each one of you individually or just globally, there's going to be truth here, okay? They can't stop the rebalancing, right? The scales. But there's also another message here, justice being blind, which means that despite who it is that may be doing these things to you, it's very important that you're focused on the actions, the weapons that were formed against you, as opposed to who it was. The simplest way I can put that is you got to make sure you're not giving people a pass because they're your family member, something like this, right? You have to start looking past all that. Look at people for their energy, what they bring to the table. Like we mentioned, a lot of people have given themselves over to a reprobate mind. This is a very hard thing to come to terms with. You have to, if you want to come out the other end of this intact. That card really flung out. Wow, unbelievable. 8 of Cups, Pisces energy. So this just followed what I said, right? This is you moving on. You know better, okay? You're not going back to these energies. This can speak about family. Just dealing with the same situations over and over again and constantly forgiving because they're family, when really they're just keeping you in a loop and they've given themselves over to these energies here. They're working for the beast system. They decided to take this route in their life. And unless you move on and understand that, you're going to end up right where they are, because they'll keep dragging you down to the point where you feel so worn down you just give in and you give up, right? Remember, the false savior seeks to pacify. One keeps you in the system, the other breaks you free. It's time to move on. Abandon hope, right? Look at that. Also, right underneath that 5 of Cups, look, there they are. Please help me. You're like, I know better. Last time I was there for you, I lost like 2 years of my life trying to help you out of some toxic situation. I'm over it. Where my life just completely fell apart. All of a sudden, opportunities stopped coming in because this dark cloud was following me. Because when I'm around you, I have to sit underneath that dark cloud too. Focus on the vision, right? The 2 cups that are still standing. Burn this bridge down. It brings nothing but pain and suffering. There's no love, water, right, in that jug. It's nothing but dust. And right on the bottom of the deck, the Hierophant, God, the divine source, whoever you look to, okay, as your point of faith, your supreme being, your hope. It's showing up right here. Okay, what do we have at the crown to close this out, please, Spirit? 8 of Pentacles, Virgo energy, right underneath that 10 of Pentacles, also Virgo energy at the crown. Says right here, intellectual talent, provides knowledge. Okay, one of the messages that I also got before the reading was that this vision that I'm picking up here, not only do you need to focus on it, but you need to begin making this a reality. Those talents you have, whatever it is, okay, that you have been gifted with, it's time to go after them. Because even when there is seemingly no way forward because of all of the chaos that's around you, you'll be surprised when you actually get up and charge forward, despite all of this, how clear your path is. Everybody's focused on the chaos, but you're over here still charging forward. And when they all turn back around, you'll be sitting in this energy here. So take advantage of this time right now, because there's a great opportunity for acceleration here, even though it may not look that way. Because not only is this the best thing that you can do for you and yours and your environment and your community and all of your loved ones, but this is the absolute best thing that you can do for the collective at large. Because if all of us take on this mindset, then we can absolutely make a huge dent and quite possibly help shift all of us out of this timeline. This is where we're at now. We need to work as a collective to influence shifting the timelines, but the only way we do this is by being less focused on the chaos of the world and being fully focused in what we can control in our own individual lives in the here and now. All right, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. If you would like to support my channel, there are a few ways that you can go about doing this. Of course, donations are always greatly appreciated, and I would like to extend my gratitude to all of you who continue to support my channel. I have an online store, which is made up of items that I have designed myself, which are all extensions of the creative universe of my channel here. And I would like to thank everybody who's already gone there and made purchases. I really appreciate the support. If you would like to join the membership side of my channel, it's only $2.99 a month, and I upload additional bonus videos each month that aren't available on the public side of my platform. There's already a bunch there that should keep you busy for a little while. Information for personal readings can be found in the description down below. But lastly, I would like to know how this reading resonated with you and what you may be experiencing in your life at this time. So leave me a heart and or a comment down below, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.